The Great War, through a London child's eye.
November 18th, 1914. I am so happy today because Father has sent such a lovely long letter. I shall write one back, twice as long. I never really was much of a letter writer, but everyone is putting ink to paper more these days. We miss Father most dreadfully, and it's the only way to talk to him. Even though it isn't exactly talking, it is so hard to go for days and days not knowing how Father is, or even where he is.
Did you have a letter for Daddy, darling? I'm going to the General Post Office if it's ready. I have a parcel for him with the field glasses he asked for. I am anxious he gets them before they move him again. It's so terribly confusing to keep up with where he is, and still no word of when he might leave for the front.
Yes, Mother, I'll come with you. Surely you must know where he is going. Mrs. Parry, why can't Father tell us? His letters seem to have all sorts of detail about the small stuff, like what he had for tea, but nothing of the war.
Do you want the Kaiser to find out about all that, Edward? Our lads must be careful what they say. They're not to discuss anything about the war, even to their own families. It's the law now, you know, and you never know who's listening. Here, I heard a terrible story about Russian spies right here in Hampstead, would you believe?
Gosh, spies?
You should not pay attention to rumours, Mrs. Parry. Goodness knows there are enough of them.
Yes, Mrs. Hampton.
I heard a terrific rumour. Sidney told me that the Germans are putting arsenic in our toothpaste to poison us off in our own homes. Imagine that.
That's right, Edward. He told me that too. And it's certain to be true, because he heard it from one of the other telegram boys who overheard it from the cleaner at the War Office who charged for a woman who's married to someone very high up at Whitehall.
Oh, please! No tittle-tattle, Mrs. Parry. You know that this is what the Boche want. Us chasing our tails and thinking that they are ahead of us.
If you don't mind me asking, Mrs. Parry, how is Sidney doing at the General Post Office? I can't believe he is now a fully-fledged telegram boy. I hardly see him these days.
Oh, he's happy as Larry now he's out of school for good and earning his keep. As I am, truth be told. As you know, he was so disappointed to be too young to join up.
Yes, such a disappointment for him.
I forbade him from even trying, you know. Many of the young ones do behind their parents' backs, but my Sidney is a good boy. And of course, telegrams are more important than ever. There isn't another way to get messages back quickly from the front. Well, other than the telephone. Here, did I hear you say that your grandmother has one of them in her very own house?
Yes, Grandmother has a telephone. You pick up the mouth part and hold it to speak, and place the earset to your ear. You can hear what the other person is saying and talk back.
He's certainly quite the contraption.
I don't think she uses it much. The friends she has who are rich enough to own one are all really quite elderly and deaf as a post. I doubt they could even hear it ring.
Well, telegrams are the quickest way to get messages for the rest of us, especially when there is bad news. And Sidney is doing his part. I am so very proud of him, Edward. Anyway, you should be off if you're going to get that parcel to your father. Go on, dear, your mother is waiting.
I thought it best not to say anything to Mrs. Parry about how Sidney has spent every 3 minutes of the last 2 months trying to join up without her knowing. Fusiliers, London Rifles, not to mention the Queen's Lancers, even the Veterinary Corps. You name it. He has tried to fool them into thinking he was old enough to enlist. In fact, if he isn't still trying, I will eat my hat. See, I miss him too. Everything's changed. I don't like it one bit.
Extra. British repulsive fierce attack in France. Brilliant charge of 2 battalions. Trenches retaken.
See, Edward, if you want to know what is going on, you should read it in black and white, the newspapers. Although mind, they will not be telling us the whole story. Mrs. Parry might have been a little too caught up in the excitement of the idea of Russian spies, but there is a grain of truth in that.
What? Spies? Here in London?
Well, this is war. Everyone must be careful now. Hey, don't look so sad, darling. I tell you what, another great way to find out the latest news is at the cinema. Why don't you and I take in a show this weekend? I know it's something you did with Daddy, but might I suffice?
Of course. I like that, Mother.
Wonderful.
The Great War, Through a London Child's Eye, supported by the National Lottery through the Heritage Lottery Fund.